Well, hello, everybody. And I think, oh, I mean, people coming in. I see. So I do see participants. That's good. That's a good thing. They're flying in like locusts. I only say that because I just saw Jurassic Park, and it was amazing. Wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but it was pretty darn great to see everybody together. Well, let me open this up here. Here we go. I'll just let everybody start filtering in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for chatting me. And thanks to the Help Network Entertainment Academy for asking me to do this. I was talking with Tim and everybody else who helps me run the VoiceOver Weekly Workout, which is Rebecca Davis and Jen, and we were trying to figure out like what's the best way to get this information to people. I made a whole Q&A area and a frequently asked questions area on the VoiceOver Weekly Workout. And I think people just need to hear it from the mouth. So, Canadian locust. You guys aren't locusts. So we're looking at people keep coming in. I'm so happy you all joined me. This is just talking juice. I learned it from Mike Rowe. He was one of my favorite, meets Mike Rowe. Everybody knows Mike Rowe. So I think we got a good 41, and they told me that they always expect half of whoever joins. So I think we're at half now. So this is great. Let's get started. I'm Jay Preston, and I run the VO Weekly Workout with Tim Friedlander, and I also am the founder of the VoiceOver Collective. I can show you that all information later if you haven't seen it, but I think many of you probably have got these news blasts saying I'm doing this, so you must have heard it all. But yeah, let's see how I start this. So it's so weird. I think I'll never get used to it. It's 3 years in, and I'll never get used to doing these Zoom things where you don't feel the feedback. It's just very quiet, and I feel like I'm talking to myself, like I do every single day in the booth. Anyway, when I first learned about the voiceover stuff, and I was trying to figure out how to do it all, I was waiting tables and living paycheck to paycheck, and it was a blast, and but not. And then I found someone told me about the Voice Bank, the weekly workout. It was $10, and Voice Bank was around when I started, and that was probably like 15 years ago. Getting into it, not knowing what I was doing, and so for $10 I could sign up, and then somebody could hear me do what I do with whatever equipment I had. And at the time, I think it was a Blue Yeti in a little box I built. And I thought I was I was gonna make it, with the Blue Yeti, and because I didn't know anything, and I'm sure some of you maybe even have a Blue Yeti right now. I'm not knocking the Yeti. I started there too, but I would sign in and I would do my read, and then I would get the feedback, and I would be like, oh, well, needs improvement is not the best kind of feedback. And then I started to figure out how to look at everything, because the Voice Bank did the same thing we do at the VO Weekly Workout, is we give everybody the feedback. And unbeknownst to me, it was a very invaluable resource that I wasn't using the right way. And so I'm here today to help you all try to figure out how to use it the right way. And again, when I go through all this stuff about how to use the weekly workouts, and not just VO Weekly Workout, Voicecaster does a great one right now, and you can get on their list. I have it right on the front page of the VO Weekly Workout, and Voicecasters is still only $10. And you get to do 2 takes, but you don't get to see everybody's feedback. So that's the one of the differences. And it's just the Voicecaster staff, which are amazing, and I do it often. So let's see. So let's go through some of this stuff. When I I have my little notes. So when I look down here, I'm not leaving you. I'm just looking at my notes because I can't remember anything. Everything has to be written down for voice actors, right? So I would look up these people because I didn't know anybody. So I would look up who they are, what they did, if they were agents. Of course, I wanted an agent. At the time, I didn't have one. I didn't know what I was doing at all. So I would be like, oh, this is an agent. I definitely want to do that workshop. And then I would follow that agent on social media, and I would sign up if they had a newsletter on their website. I'd sign up for that newsletter, and if they did another workshop live in person, I'd say, hey, I joined your VO weekly workout, and I mean your well, yeah, I think it was still called that. I joined your weekly workout, and thanks so much for the feedback. It really helped. And they would remember that they had done it. They wouldn't necessarily remember me at the time, but it was a great way to have a talking point when I finally met the agent or the casting director at the time. Because that's always hard too, right? Networking kind of, how do you go up to the person who you wish they brought you into their agency, and start a conversation? But it was a great way to just have an opening. Then I started to figure out other ways. I started to figure out that my USB mic didn't sound as good as a lot of the other people that were getting better feedback than me. And of course, part of me is like, well, maybe it's the mic. Maybe I should try to figure out how to upgrade my mic. And so I started to figure out how to do that kind of stuff. But it was great because I could go and listen to basically my competition, other people who, you could tell who the working pros were because it'd be like, great feedback. And you would kind of recognize their name after a while. And then it's great to be able to hear what they do and what they bring to copy. Let's see. So here's some more valuable insights. The voiceover weekly workouts are full of agents and casting directors and voice directors and coaches. And it wasn't until way later that I realized how important coaches would be in your career as you move forward. The ability to see how the VO equipment sounded versus others is also incredible, like I just stated. And then I could kind of match up like, okay, it still doesn't, I bought this other mic, it still doesn't sound as good. I had to make my booth a little better. It sounded too boxy and people weren't sounding boxy. And I was like, okay, so I had to figure out what boxy meant, then figure out how to fix that problem. So it helped me even get my gear into the right place. And then as I was getting better and my things started to get better and my gear was getting better and my reads were getting better because I was learning to see what others did. And then I would try that the next workout and say, oh, okay, so they were adding in little things. They were doing little improvs and stuff like that. So I'll try to do that next time and add in some flavor or whatever. And I would start to get better feedback. And then out of the blue, an agent reached out to me and was like, hey, we need a voice like yours on the roster. Would you? And I was like, oh. And then you better believe that you saw me on the workshop every week because I was like, oh, you can actually get a bite. I wasn't even thinking about the bites. I was like, of course, trying to get better. And I think that's a key ingredient is that's a possibility, right? And all workshops and all meeting everybody and getting your voice out there, the possibility is there. And I hear a lot, and you've heard a lot of stories. I'm sure I hear a lot of stories about people who were found. And so it's always in the back of your head, and everyone's going to say, don't do it for that, and don't do it for getting better, finding the ways to make this $10 go as far as it can go. Because when you're living paycheck to paycheck and trying to buy voiceover equipment, which is very expensive, and then trying to learn what you're doing by doing workshops and classes, like if I can get a place where I can look at 50 to 100 people of my peers reading the same copy, getting different feedback and all for $10. I would spend hours just going through, okay, this person got amazing feedback. What do they do? I would go look them up on Google, and if they had a website, I'd then go listen to their demos and oh, I see they're represented. So then I would go to that agency's website and listen to all the demos in that agency and then see, did they have a voice that has my print? If not, then I can hone in, write down my little notes of like, I need to hone in on SPV and make sure that SPV knows who I am and all that stuff. So I started to do that. And then as I started to get better, I've of course started to book some actual work. And then I had an agent, and then another agent, a regional, reached out to me. So I got 2 agents off of the voice bank workshops. And at that point I was feeling pretty darn good. And then I started to figure out how to book work with my agents using the VO weekly workouts. I'd start trying different tactics out, different improvs. I'd read against the specs and see how that landed. Because the great thing about the workouts are there it's a safe place to get like legit feedback. So you don't really want to be unsafe when you're sending in your auditions all the time. But the workouts are great places where people who would normally hear your auditions would give you legit feedback. So you could try to go against the script, try some audition techniques that you learned from a coach or something like that. Do things that you're not usually comfortable with. Maybe try a character if it's a video game or animation that isn't in your wheelhouse, and see what you come up with. And a lot of times you come up with a new character, and then some of the feedback you get is kind of mind-blowing, because I tried something very recently on a character, and I thought honestly I was going to get bad feedback, because I took it way down and didn't go as far as I would usually have gone with this audition, and I got all great feedback. So it gave me confidence to do that in a real audition, you know, because I wouldn't have done that in a real audition because I didn't get that feedback. And it's in a safe place, and it's great, and the feedback's there for everybody. So even if you're getting not the greatest of feedback, don't feel bad and say screw these workshops. You know, that feedback's invaluable for everyone. And then it's not saying you suck, it's saying really take another try at it. And sometimes even the casting, I mean, you could reach out to some of the guests or reach out to us, and we could reach out to the guest and say, you know, I love the feedback, I totally get what you said, I'd love to give it another go. You know, do they want 50 people to give it another go? No, but I mean, be picky and choosy. If you really do feel like you could give this another go and you want to see, because maybe they'll be up to it, maybe they won't. But I'd say reach out to us, let us ask if you don't know them personally, and see what happens. But why not, right? So safety to try out new ideas, improv techniques with I just said good. See, I'm doing these notes. I'm doing it all. It's a great way, these workshops, to keep on the top of the mind with casting directors and casting. If you start, say there's somebody who you booked a job with, and you just and then you see that they're on a weekly workout. Well, a great thing to do is, you know, maybe even say hello in the slate, you know, hey Kelly, it's Jay, thanks so much. Just a quick little, even though they didn't ask for that, it's like a personable thing. And if it's in the feedback that later, I doubt that they'll say anything too bad about it, but I mean, obviously you won't say that every time, but sometimes you can. If I build a relationship with casting directors and stuff like that, and they're actually friends, I will be like, hey, how's it going? It's Jay. And you know, just a nice friendly slate that is how I would say hello to them if I saw them, you know. It's a great way to say thanks for the feedback. If you are familiar with these people and you do create a social media presence with them or whatever, hey, I did the weekly workout, thanks so much for that feedback, I loved it. And if you do have that connection, great. You know, I was wondering, I did another take after you gave me that feedback, I worked on it, could I send it to you see what you think? And then you're on top of mind, because the truth of the matter is, top of mind and networking and that kind of stuff is really key to because I've got 50 participants just here. I know a bunch of newsletters that this went out to that are 5,000 to 4,000 voice actors, and that's just the newsletters that are in this networking industry, you know, that I know of. So, and now that the pandemic happened, competition is huge now. I mean, the whole country is auditioning, even other countries are auditioning for the same jobs that we're auditioning through. Getting an agent is harder than ever because their rosters are full, because everyone doesn't have to just be in LA or just be in New York anymore. So it's more than ever now. This is why one of the reasons we really wanted to make sure that people are using these simple resources and making them as invaluable as they are, is that it's honing your skills and staying on top of stuff is more important than ever if you want to book work to not wait tables. I'm doing more work on my auditions than I ever have. I Before pre-pandemic, I would probably pop out 100 auditions a day. And I would pick and choose a couple that I would like really try to get. Now I'm really trying to get all of them. And I've don't even have time for pay to play sites or anything like that because I'm trying to book with my agents. And so I'm putting extra time in every audition, really trying to make them pop, really trying to become memorable. Have the casting directors, when they hear Jay Preston, they're excited to see what I'll do with a copy next. That's my goal. I don't know if it's happening. I'm hoping it does. When you book, you're like, okay, I did something right. But I want everyone to be able to like put this kind of effort into their craft. This is what you do. Your job is to audition. So it's not, I mean, when you book the job to me and Meg, it's like a vacation because it's like, I booked the job. My job's on Tuesday. I have a couple of hours free where I do what I do. And it's like the best because I already booked it. Job done. That's like, and then after that, we'll go have a lunch or a dinner. It's like, I love booking days or work days. But man, it's all about the work that you put in the middle time. It's not work either. It's fun. I mean, I go in the booth and I make noises all day and do improv with scripts. It's a good job. You can get, so everybody that you do a workshop with, follow, interact with them, see what else they're doing. The more that they hear your voice, the more that they can become familiar with you. So even if we had somebody last year and you already did a workshop with them, stay on top of mind, do a workshop with them again. One gig pays you back for the whole year of $20 workshops. You know what I mean? So here's what we can do. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to go through. Can people raise hands on this thing? Like, is that a thing that people can do? I know that we've got the help network here.
Yes, they can.
Look, I can see them raising hands. Okay, great. Wait, don't raise hands. Okay, stop raising your hands. Love it. Now we have 51 of you. Raise your hand if you've tried the VO Weekly Workout, you know how it works. This is so cool. It's so interactive. Look at this. Boop, 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 boop. I wish there was little sounds. So only like 11 people raised hands. So, okay, so now I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go through real quick just how our VO Weekly Workout works, what it does when you sign up, what it does when you, and just real quick so that I can move to this next part. Let me share my screen. Desktop 1. I think that's working. I'm sharing my screen and you can hopefully see everything. So when you sign up for a workshop and you put your money in, you immediately are able to download something like this. This is the most recent one, and it's just a PDF that kind of walks you through. And if you can't see this, I'm just tell me you can't see it, but I'm hoping you can. So you get this PDF, tells you who you just signed up for. It tells you when the live feedback is, if they did the VOWW plus. VOWW plus is for a specific amount of people, like 20 people, up to 20 people who get their written feedback, and then they have a live Zoom session anywhere from an hour to 2 hours with the casting director where they can ask questions, they maybe get redirected, and they get some extra feedback. So very cool thing that we added last year, and people love it. It sells out every time, which is kind of amazing. And it's really fun. I did one a couple weeks ago and I had a great time. Tells you when the workout opens, when the final submissions are due, and when you're going to get feedback the week of. So what happens is when the workshop opens, boom, it's a Friday, the workshop opened. You have a week to sign up and get this PDF, get your copy, and send in whatever they asked for. And on the second page, it says, here's how it works. But but then on the third page is the directions. Here we go. So the copy is here. There's your little link to the copy from the Dropbox. You click that link, you go find the character you want to do and which one speaks to you, or the copy that you want, if it's commercial, video game, animation, whatever it is. And then you have from whenever you signed up to when submissions are due to get your take in. You choose your character. There's always instructions. Some of them are very vague, and some of them are some instructions are actually on the sheets. So, which is great. We always encourage people to do different, whatever they want to do. Usually it's just one take. This Dennis said you could do two, which is a very rare thing, but a very wonderful thing. I'm even signed up. Dennis he's such a great director. He directed me for Wasteland 3, and we had so many fun. So I booked like 2 characters in Wasteland 3, but every session I was given another like character or 2, and we just created them on the spot, and they became some of my favorite characters. And he was a blast. It was really nice to get him to do this workshop. He's got 2 games he's just got signed to work on currently, hint, hint. And so he's excited to hear everybody here. So then you would grab, it tells you how to slate, gives you an example how to slate, tells you how to name your files. And naming your files is very important if you're taking notes. Capital letters, underscores, spaces where the underscores are. It's super important. And I have done some casting myself, and I can't tell you how important it is to label correctly. Because if you get 200 auditions, it's very easy to just throw the ones that are labeled incorrectly away. And I know you're like, why would you do that? Because I just got 200 auditions. And if you can't follow simple labeling instructions, and I've heard this from other casting directors when I wasn't ever casting anything, but I've heard them say it, and I'm like, no, I would never do. But I tell you, when it comes down to the wire, you're to look for any reason to like make your pool a little smaller. So don't give anyone a reason to make their pool smaller. Do everything right. It just takes a little time to look at something, read it, and follow the directions. Anyway, so you grab your copy, and here's all the different sides. So we go through all the sides, and so I already picked my side, and I'll show you the side looks like. Bard's Tale is a great game. He actually wrote it and directed it, and he's just amazing with delivery and dialogue. So this is what the copy looks like. Right up top is kind of all that you get for the character description, which was great. And he asked for 2 takes. So I get to really explore 2 different versions of how I can approach this so super safely. And so then, let's say you did it, you sent on your audition, you're happy with it, your 2 takes, you did it right. And then you wait a week, because now let me sip some water, I feel clicky. Then they have a week to get their feedback in. So they're going to hear we're going to send them a big file of everyone's auditions, and up to 50, and then they have 1 week to get all of their feedback in. So then when they're done with that, they'll send it in, and then the feedback will go live, and the feedback online will look like this. I have changed everyone's name except mine to secret names that you'll never know who they are. But this is from the work out with Julia Bianco from the Help Network. She sold out, so she had all the people. She sold out the VOWW and the VOWW Plus, and she gave great feedback. And so now I want to go through. It's 6:25. You know what I'll do? Right before I go through this next step, I'll just I see some hands raised. Let me stop share, and I can do a question if you have, and you can write it in the chat about what I've said so far. Or I guess if people can unmute, right, and ask if there's a hand raised. Is that how it could work?
I can't allow them to talk.
Oh, don't allow them to talk. Just write it in there.
Okay.
Jasper, what do you got to say? How fast can you write?
There is also a question in the Q&A section. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah.
you see that, or...
Oh, there it is. Look at this. Yeah, put your questions there. That's brilliant. You guys know what you're doing, don't you? Help. All right, so if I hear you correctly, put your own spin on it, no matter where the sentence break is located. That is a good question, and there's a lot of answers to it. It depends on what take you wanted to do. If you have 2 takes, I put my own spin on the second take all the time. I'm actually doing a workshop with the Help Network in July about that kind of thing, about improv in copy. And improv for voiceover is very different than improv on the stage. There's different concepts, different rules. You're improving just with yourself. So take that as a couple seats left, I think. It's a 3-hour workshop, and we go through all of when is right to do that. And I'm getting off topic. Let's I'll talk about more of that at the end if I have some time. But yes, you put your own spin. Don't be so, I call it being precious to the script. If you get a chance with a second take, do that. Don't be precious. Switching around the way punctuation is one of my favorite things, and it's an easy thing to start to do. You can even start to do it once you do it a lot. You do it on the fly sometimes in your auditions. Deborah says, can you please explain again about the VO Plus? How much time do you get with the guest agent coach? So we only, the VOWW Plus, so instead of $20, which is what the VOWW is, it's $40 because you get the written feedback, and then you get to have one-on-one time with the guest director. And it's up to the guest director how long they want to do it. It usually always goes around an hour, and it many times goes over because when you're guest directing, you're very generous, and you want to make sure everyone gets time. You know what I mean? We have everyone gets their time with the director, and so I'd say how much time do you get depends on what they want to work with you on. So like 10 to 20 minutes at a time, sometimes maybe just 5 minutes if your feedback was solid. Maybe they just want to see what you can do in a different type of direction. It all is dependent on the agent or coach. Jasper says, I want to go get auditions in SAG jobs, and I was wanting to do it as soon as possible. How's the best way to do that? So if you, Jasper, are you SAG? Are you a union? You can write that anywhere. I'm looking at all the spots. You're non-union. Okay. Do you have an agent? So your first step before getting SAG jobs and auditions is to figure out a way to get yourself an agent. And like I was saying earlier, the way that I first got an agent was through these kinds of workshops by chance. I wanted one, of course, but I was trying to get better. Not saying that it'll happen for you that way. There's a lot of different ways, just submitting to agencies in general. When you just start out, when I just started out, I had nothing here because I'm going to write a book one day. It's going to be great. But you've heard of Catch 22 in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry. It's like a different number. It's Catch something else. Because there's always something else you need. Just what you you just need to get some equipment, and you get a thing together, and then you get no. Then you want to get an agent. Now you have your equipment. The agent says, well, what have you done? Well, nothing, because I don't have a job. So then you have to go to a pay-to-play site, even though people are against pay-to-play sites. And then you get it in a pay-to-play site, and then they want you to put a demo up, but you don't have a demo. So then you got to go get a demo. So it's very difficult. But it takes some time, and that's the one thing. It's fun to, if this is your passion, like 2 years went by like that. I didn't have an agent for 2 years, and I was just learning, and I was having a blast, and I was meeting a lot of people, and I was learning, and before I knew it was 2 years were gone, and then I got my first agent, and I was like, wow, okay. And then things started to pick up, and I wasn't even union then. So, and I'll be honest, I'm a union, but there's a lot of non-union work. A lot, maybe more, way more than there is union. And if you stay with the rates, the right rates, like the GVAA rate guide is amazing. Even keep your rates close to SAG rates. If you stick to the right rates, you can even get more money than you would get in a SAG job sometimes. But to answer your question, once you have some work under your belt, or you have a great demo, you can start pitching the great demo to agencies and saying, this is what I've been working on my own. That way they know that you're working, and that way they know that you have potential to book jobs if they sign you. Go to the agency rosters. There might be one or two that you really want to be with, but go to their rosters, see if your voice print's in there. If you don't know what your real voice print is, if you haven't even found that yet, I would suggest, the Help Network Academy has some great coaches and teachers. Calmonton teaches amazing, like to find your signature voice. Once you know your signature voice, then you can start really getting yourself out there towards agents. And then when you get a good agent, they'll start sending you SAG work. So that's a long answer, but hopefully I helped. How do you deal with confusing copy, such as a commercial that wants 5 different takes, but that's a great, see, Lawrence, you got to come out to my other workshop, because we deal with all of that kind of stuff about scripts and things like that. But let's run back over to what I was showing you earlier, because some of this will be answered on its own. So let me get rid of that for now. So I hope that helped. That was a nice little 6-minute question break. Back to this. Share. So then you wait for the agent to give all the feedback, and then the feedback is posted. Woo! And you get to go and see what your feedback is. So of course you immediately go look for your name wherever it is. Oh, there it is. There's my name. What's my feedback? Great start. Like the variations, especially proximity to who you're speaking to. Wonderful. Great. I did all the things right. And we have file naming here. It's very important. But see how many people some people don't do it well. Name your files right, friends. And this is where the time starts to set in. So now you have yours. Now I could go into the booth and I could start, but now I want to know, like, what do I do, right? So you get feedback like this and you wonder, okay, well, what could I have done to improve, or did I just nail it? But yeah, I never think that I nail it, and most actors never think they nail it. But you know what? I was told once by Charlie Adler, and he really changed my mind on that. I went to him for some coaching for an animated series, and inside I felt I nailed what I had just done. And he asked, how'd you feel about that? And I was like, inside I felt I nailed it. Then I was like, I could. And he said, you know what? Never mind. I'm never going to hire you. And I was like, wait, what? He opened my eyes with saying, you need to get to a point where you feel like you just did your best work, because that's the person people want to hire. Someone that they hire you, they know that every time you go in, you're delivering your best take, not always, but I mean, you want to be at a point where you start to feel like, yep, I nailed it. And you got to feel okay with that. It's super hard for us actors to do, to like get out of our skin and to say that we're good. We're always looking for approval, but really work to get the great feedback. But of course, the other part of you is like, okay, well, I didn't book that. If if it's an audition you book, so what did I do different? So now I will go and find other agents and see what they got for feedback. Nice efforts and pain can slow the whole thing down, but it was great. Well, then I would want to go listen. And we give you the option in the VO Weekly Workout to go listen to everybody else's stuff. So I can go and listen to what Thor did, and then I could understand, oh, wow, okay. And maybe I'll even get ideas of what I could have done. I'll go back and listen to what I did, and then I'll go listen to what Thor did. And it's like, I can see why she said to slow things down. So there's little important things that you'll read in the feedback of a coach or a director to another actor, and those are they're gems. And these are all gems that are already written down for you. So you didn't have to go to the workshop and take notes. The notes are literally right, 50 of them, and you can go and find the gems. This was too fast. Lines need more difference between them. Well, what does that mean? So I would go listen, and then I would start to hear what that meant. I have all this time here because this is my job right now, is to like get better. So to try to get specific about who you're talking to and where they are physically in proximity to. But I got good job with proximity. So now I want to go listen to Mark 1 Star and find out what did not being good to physical proximity sound like? And then my ear will start to hear that difference. Then I will see, so let's say that my name is simply Susan, and this was my feedback, needs improvements. Well, I want to be improved, so I will say, okay, what did I do wrong? First line, lacked authority. Needed it for an agent in that situation. Because it was an agent. Effort needs to be more specific to the region of the body and type of pain. Efforts needs to be specific. Okay, so then if I was simply Susan, I would then go, what other agent got the feedback I wanted? So I got needs improvement. Who was an agent here that got the feedback I wanted? Oh, it's all in alphabetical order. Great. Well, I want all the great feedback. So I would go look at this guy, Jay Preston. He must have done something right. And Thor. And I would go listen to what they did and then back to what I did. And then you'll start to understand what it is that you're not doing right. So obviously the same efforts are in all of these. So that's a great thing. Then you're going to have all the copy. So the ones that you passed over, the one, if you didn't do bomber, but you knew it maybe was outside of your comfort zone, great. Now we can go listen to what everyone did with bomber. Could I have done something like that? Maybe I'll go and try. What was the good feedback for bomber, and could I match that? This one, a whole bunch of greats. Haven't heard this first scene whispered yet. I really like it. So everybody, all these bombers, no one did what he did. And that was a great feedback here. So I want to go hear that. I want to hear what other people did. And so this is what I'm talking about really breaking this down and getting into the feedback and going back and listening and spending the time. You'll be amazed that it sounds monotonous really, but you'll start to, it's like a game. And as you do it, the more you do it, the more you learn, and the more you're like, okay, well, I love this Ezio Auditore and I really want to, so I'll go look him up. What else has he done? Maybe is he on social media? Maybe let's become, hey, I did the workout. I really liked your great job on that. It sounded great. Now I'm creating a friendship with Ezio Auditore. And, I'd like to pick your brain a little bit more. I want to get to your level. And that's a great way for networking to start. And oh, what other workshops do you do? Do you know of workshops that I don't know of? That's how I started to learn about all the workshops in LA. I would go to a workshop, I would meet 2 or 3 people that I thought were better than me and had a good personality, and I would say, what are you doing any other workshops and stuff? And they would tell me about one. Well, I go to that one because not only am I learning from the from the director, I'm learning a lot from the actors and their feedback and what they do in the booth. And I would start to become, in a way, like just, I would copy this guy's technique. I would copy that person's delivery on certain characters. Also a great way to build your character repertoire. There's all these different characters here. Let's see what people can do. And could I do a character like that? You're not copying a character, because anything you do, even if it sounds off, is a brand new character for your toolbox. So it's a great place to go find different characters. And then you go through, once you're done doing all that kind of work, then you'll go through and you'll try to find the hidden gems in the feedback. Let's see if we can find a gem. Would prefer naming to be without, so there's a lot, I noticed this one too, the naming ones. No spaces in the name. Oh, I changed all the names. So I even fixed her, but Alexa had a space before Apple. Silly Alexa Apple. I commend you for trying something different. Most AI is going to have you utilizing your lower register, but we have a commendation for trying something different. That's great. Great speed and consistency. Try removing your smile from any lines and play with how something more or less robotic might sound. Fantastic. I think you're getting the point of just going through and trying to find these like gems of stuff. This one is a gem right here. First time I've heard this whispered. Well, when I get an audition tomorrow, I'm going to try whispering the opening line on something, see what happens. Try to go against script, go against the whatever that it asked for. Need a bigger difference from first set of lines to the second. and I've gotten this feedback before. Actually, I actually got it with one of the last ones I did, the Liam from one of the agency workshops, and I got that kind of, and I listened back. 3 of my lines were very similar in style and sound, and I was like, you're right, because if you only have 6 lines to book a character, all 6 have to have a different point of view, a different, one could be more whispered, even though it has an exclamation point, doesn't mean you have to be yelly, so finding all these little nuances. The louder stuff was peaking, distorting a little bit. Well, that's, but still got great. So this is a great example of, it's not always your mic stuff. If you don't have the best setup, it doesn't mean you might not get great feedback. It was a great read. The mic your gain was a little too high, and you peaked. So this person, Tally, all she has to do is work on her mic placement and her vocal placement, or turning the gain down when she does, big bomber characters, and she'll be even closer to booking. Let's see. That last line is really about spelling out what you're doing for them. I wish I could tell you, and then spells out exactly what she means. See, this is great. This is, go in, listen to what this means. It's kind of like a little sleuth action, and then you'll learn what that meant, and to not do that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, oh, hi again, me again. Used all the skills Ezio had. So that kind of hopefully makes sense. Let's see if there's a quick question in the Q&A about that. What were the names of the places you mentioned to help? Oh, Kalmanson and Kalmanson is great. They have literal workshops about finding your signature voice, and that's the voice that's truest to you. And it was the first class I ever did. And I do say this to everyone that asks for advice from me, is don't be a one. How do you say it? Don't be a one. I'm going to make up one. Don't be a one stable horse. Huh? So I really think it's very important. A one trick. Hey, yeah, that's what I was going for. One trick pony. But don't be a one stable horse. Don't just learn from one place. Because when you went to school, you went to different classrooms. When you went to college, you took different things to become well-rounded. It's the same concept in voiceover. In my personal opinion, I learned so much from all the different places I went and did workshops and classes. And then I found so many coaches that really spoke to me and said the same thing I've heard 7 times, but the way that this person said it, like, I can't tell you, Charlie Adler's one of the ones where things that came out of his mouth I've been told before, but for him telling me, just things clicked. And that's what you're doing. You take as many classes as you can until a click and an aha moment happens. And that's the thing. Taking as many as you can drains your wallet. So the best part is, while you're taking a break from spending too much money in workshops and classes, this keeps you going, these little weekly workouts. And Skills Hub is another. It's great because you could pay just $30 for a quick, there's a audition that I got that I really want to book a character in this game. I know what game it is, even though it's a game that is secret title, but I know the game, and I really want my best foot forward. Well, I'll go find a coach on Skills Hub, sign up, 30, and I'll do my whole take, what I would have sent in, and we'll start there. So I'll send that take to the coach when I sign up, and they'll hear it, and we'll start from what I would have just sent it, what I was happy with. And then I'll get a whole new read in 20 minutes that I'm even more happy with, because it's such a great resource. And it's on-demand coaching, so it's amazing. But in the interim, these weekly workouts, the VoiceCaster one and the one that we run, I mean, the one that VoiceCaster is great, and I'm going to talk. Hopefully, I'll have some little time to talk about how much I love that and why I love theirs as well, because it's different than ours. But ours is so great because you can do all that learning I just told you, and even more. There's more you can even just roll in here. But I gave you like the platform for like how you use it the best, and how I always use it every time. If I want, I haven't seen this person in a while, well, and they happen to be on our workshop, I'll do a thing with them, and I'll make a little email to them later, and I'll say, hey, that was so great to see you on the VO Weekly Workout. And we just released this new wonderful thing on the VO Weekly Workout where if you're like, I wish this director was there, or this agency was on the VO Weekly Workout, or this casting director was on the VO Weekly Workout. If you know them and we haven't had them on, you can send them an email if say you're friendly with them, and CC us, team@voweeklyworkout.com. If we get them on and you sent them to us, you get that workshop for free. And you can do the VO Weekly Workout version, or the Zoom one. We'll make a spot for you there. But we thought that was a good idea. I like the idea, and it helps you make more contacts with the people you're trying to get in front of. We pay them, so it helps them get some moolah, and people are here to help. I mean, everybody wants us to succeed. The agents do, the casting directors do, and they actually have a great time doing these, the VO Weekly Workout. Having the help month was great because now I'm here helping you all figure out how to use it more. So let's see. 6:47. When video game, oh, here's some more that I didn't, let me make sure I didn't skip them. Find the feedback you want, great. New ideas and avoid mistakes others made. I talked about that. So say there's a VO Weekly Workout and it's somebody you don't know about, like Dennis Miller, who's this week. You've never heard of him. And you might like, I'll skip this week and save the cash. The ones that you don't recognize, I honestly think those are the ones you want to get in front of more than anyone, because that's somebody you haven't heard of yet. If I don't recognize somebody, I'm always there. And so I implore you to find out who these people are that you haven't heard of, and why did we hear of them, and why are they there. And video game directors are always working on the next project, and if they're not, they have one coming up. So are they working? Do they work right now? And they're always trying to, I mean, how many characters are in a video game these days? They're always trying to build their repertoire, or voices that they know of. And so I'm doing Dennis's too this week, and I'm not gonna do any of the characters we did from Wasteland to him. I'm gonna give him a voice he hasn't heard, and I'm gonna try out maybe a new voice I've been working on, or a new character. So, and I have 2 takes to give him, so this is gonna be fun. So that's what you want to do with people you know. So it's a director that you worked with before, great. Show them what else you can do. Is it a director who just brings you in for Walla only? Pick a lead character and show them how good you can do that, or they'll give you feedback. Because if you're friendly with them and you've worked with them before, you can get extra feedback later, or take them out to dinner. Or, that was great, I want to pick your brain, or just want to be your friend. Who knows? It's endless possibilities. Speaking of video games, here's some ideas that you can do when it's a video game director. Try your best version of your favorite characters in movies, in other video games. Like, this is your chance to try out a new thing. Say you love Claire Redfield or Sam Fisher, and you'd love to do a character like that, but your voice doesn't sound like a Sam Fisher voice, and neither does mine. Do your best version of what he brings to the table. What is his aura? And in your voice, do your best Sam Fisher for whatever character is there. Like, it's your chance to play and see how your feedback comes out. You might find a character within that becomes your new favorite. Did you get close when you did that? And was the likeness noticed? Exactly. Just because it's a bad impression doesn't mean it won't be a good character. Absolutely, Gabriel, we were in the same place when we heard that, I think. But it's exactly feedback like that, or stuff you hear like that is the thing that sticks with you. You can come up with so many new things. So then you're finding out, well, I did the Sam Fisher, did that come across? And if it's in the notes or it's in the thing, like, all right, yeah, you nailed it, put it in there. I have one character who's becoming a staple these days. It's like my version of Liam Neeson. You're going to be taken. I have to get into it. That's my get into it line. You're going to be taken, and everything's going to be okay. And I'll find you. And I have a phone, and I love phones. And I'll just do that character for, every now and then. And I've booked it like 3 times, and it's kind of fun. were you believable in that? Try a character that's way out of your comfort zone, one that you wouldn't have usually chosen. These are the safe ones, great, but you know, this workshop, let's try one that the one that you don't really, you're not sure that's in your wheelhouse. Try it out. If you've auditioned for the copy that's already in the workshop, which happens every now and then, you'll see some copy and you'll be like, I auditioned for that character. Didn't book it, but I auditioned for that character, and there it is in this workshop. Well, I keep all my auditions for 2 years, so I'll try to go back and find it. I will put in, if I get 2 takes, great, even better. I'll put in the old audition and see in the feedback you wish you had when the character you didn't book. I'll just send that old audition in and do it that way. If I have 2 takes, I'll send in the old audition and I'll try it again and see, you know, how much even I've improved. And that's a great way to do it. When it's commercial copy, did you research the brand? Do the things that people tell you to do on these workshops, that you know what to do. And even when I do any teaching, I realize that I know what to do, and sometimes I don't even do the things I tell people to do. And then when I hear people do the things I tell them to do, or I know should be done, I'm amazed at the read that we get. So now this is your workout. You just paid $10, $20 for it, and it's not a lot of money. So, but think of it like it was a lot of money, right? Think of it like, because to me in the beginning it was, so I was making the most out of it. And then when I started to make money, I did fall subject to, we'll just send it in. Yeah, I'll read for them. I'll just send in a little take and send it in and see what happens. But I really kick myself in the head. I'm like, what am I doing? If I paid money to work out, to get better, you got to put your best take in there. Otherwise you're doing yourself a disservice, because then you can just say to yourself, well, I wasn't really trying. You know, don't be that person who pays money in a workshop and then doesn't really try, or phones it in, or wasn't feeling it today, or just feel a little tired tonight. As the great Deepak says, you have endless energy. So did you research the brand with commercial copy? Did you look it up on iSpot TV or YouTube? Did you see what they're doing now, what their brand is like? Sometimes you can even find the spot that's in the copy, because a lot of the copy that directors will give is copy that's already been used and is already out there for years. So then you find it, you can kind of really get in the game of what worked and see if you can replicate what worked, or try something different. So many options. Obviously, how important labeling, slating, and saving directions are. We talked about that. Learn what specific casting directors like and don't like, and make notes. Like I showed you on Julia Bianco's thing, she obviously likes labeling the right way every time, right? So make a note of that. Every time I audition for a Julia Bianco job, I want to make sure I'm always double checking, triple checking my labeling, so that isn't a note she has to think about. Does she like ad libs? Does she like improv? If she'll tell you right there, stick to the script, you know, or I really love the choice you made. I never heard it done that way. Great note. She accepts and likes improv, right? Start writing notes of all the workshops you did and the casting directors, who they were, what they do. Have a book that is like full of valuable your own VO knowledge. Just make it, if you make it a habit, I know writing little notes is a pain in the butt, but make it a habit, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, who's this director? Oh, I had a workshop with them back at this date. They like this, they don't like that. They like, they don't like this, like the slate at the end, not, you know, invaluable. And you could be doing it as, you know, all the time. Keep track of how many times I just said that. And are you improving? The last time, what was your feedback? Did you take a screenshot of it, put it in a folder in your computer? Maybe you could just, if you're a computer note taker, if you gave, and then what happened the second time? Was your feedback better? What happened the third time? Oh, it's the third time. Maybe I should reach out to them. I've done 3 or 4 workshops with them, and maybe I should find a way to, you know, all their email addresses sometimes are online, info@whatever. And hey, I've done 3 workshops and I've noticed I've been getting better. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to give me some great feedback. Simple, don't go crazy. I need an agent, and could you help me? And, you know, don't be that person, but, you know, just be a friendly person that people like to hang out with. If you're looking for an agent, contact the agent you want to be with, see if they or any of the agents at the agency are doing any workouts or classes. And if not, you can tell them about the VO Weekly Workout, see if they've heard about it. And you can do that thing we talked about earlier and send them to us. And if we get them to go, you get to work out with them for free, and you brought that to them. So that's always a plus. So let's take up some more little questions we got here. What do we got? Q&A. Where are we? Should people wait to do the workouts if they're not experienced in VO? So just in case if they had a bad performance, they won't be black. No, and that's the greatest thing about these workouts. I mean, this is where you get to try things out. I had, and that's the thing. It's like they want you to succeed. So don't be. This is your time to like get the script from somebody who's important and show them what you can do and get the feedback, and then make yourself better for the next time. And then when they come back again, show them what you got this time. And you can even, and if you ever meet them in person, you can say, man, your feedback at that VO Weekly workout really, really helped me in this way and this way. And I took it to heart and I did this and this. And I just recently booked this thing. And, wow, that's so great to hear. It's like, these are all opportunities, all of them, learning opportunities and networking opportunities in a way. And just like, Deborah says, I recently submitted a commercial audition. Only one take allowed. The copy had what I thought might be a typo and a word left out. I was in anguish if I should honor this. Right. Totally. I've been there many times. If it's coming out of your mouth and it doesn't sound right, change it to make it sound right. If it's just, sometimes there are words I've never said in my entire life on a script and they just don't sound right coming out of my mouth. So I'll just change it to what would sound right. I'll take the concept of that word. If I could change the word, great. If it's the sentence that needs to be changed to make it sound better, I'll say that. I'm not that precious on URs and stuff like that, because sometimes copywriters aren't thinking to the actor, they're thinking to the ad agency. So they're writing perfect English, but you have to make it jump off the page into how people speak in real life and how you speak in real life, even on top of that. So if you think there's a typo, and if just changing something or adding a little in there or better the makes it sound and come out of your mouth more correctly, do that. I would say always just do that. You'll know when it's too much, you know what I mean? And in the advanced auditioning technique workshop, I talk about the very first thing you have to do is look at the script and what is the most important things in the script that cannot be changed? What is the thing in the script that the ad agency is trying to get across to the general public? Those are the things that can't be screwed with, and so much more can be played with. Mindy says, what were the names of the places you mentioned to help find your, I answered that one already. So I think we've been putting links in the little chat box over there, so that's great. I've done some VO Weekly workouts that are in the genres I tend to do corporate commercials, so I don't do the video games or animation ones because I wouldn't know what the heck to do and would be awful. I feel I'd be wasting the person's time. My thoughts to that, Terrell, is do you want to do video games and animations? And if the answer is yes, then yes, do them, because this is where you're going to learn how to do them. And this is your chance to have some copy. And I mean, you get all the copy. So not only do you pick the one that you're going to do, you can download all that copy, put it in a folder, and now you have practice copy. And we do these once every 2 weeks. So tons and tons and tons of practice copy you can be putting aside if you ever want to. Then you get together with some more folks. I mean, you have all their names that are there. You can find them on social media. Hey, do you want to do like a workout group together? Now you have a free workout group with like-minded peers with all the copy, and you can give each other, feedback. You're not all directors and stuff, but y'all have ears. What sounded good, what didn't sound good. That's how the voiceover collective started. I just got some people together that I liked working with at workshops, and it started with 5 people, 10 people, 20, 30. We started doing get-togethers, 100, and now it's been 10 years, and the collective is amazing and has helped a lot of people move their careers forward, and has helped me move my career forward I have friends that are everlasting now. So This all could start from this $10-$20 you spend, and you would never be wasting anyone's time or a person's time, because they signed up to help people get better. They're not there just to hit grade all the time. I mean, the last one with Liam, most of them were needs improvement, and the feedback was fantastic. So much great feedback. A lot of gems, and you're missing out on the gems. You know what I mean? Oh, you're not really either, because anyone can go and look at the feedback. So you can't see your own feedback if you didn't do a workshop, but we have it up there for everybody. So go and read up the gems if you want. We get some free time and some talking juice. How can you do this when you have limited copy or text? I saw that with a commercial, and I took a lot to find it. Wait, I saw that when you have limited, not 100% is what that means, Mr. Lawrence. When you have, like you're saying, when you just have like 1 or 2 lines, is that what you mean? When the specs are half a page and then you have like 2 lines, if that's what you mean, let me know. Oh, they didn't send much detail in the edition. When you have limited context, like for the brand, you can't really tell what, like you don't know the brand name. If the brand name's there, then you can go look up that brand, the website, and tons of context of what they are and what they do. But if you don't have the brand, no brand name, well, in that case, I would do a couple of takes and give my own. I would say, what brand could this be? If it's Microsoft copy, if it sounds Microsofty or googly, or because a lot of times Google and Microsoft and YouTube and Facebook, they all hide their brand names when they're doing stuff because they're so secretive. So I will just assume it's one of the big companies and just go with reads in that direction. Is the VO Weekly Workout a great place to start if you're brand new to voice acting? Absolutely. Hopefully I've answered that a bunch of times. It's where I started. I didn't have any money and I didn't know what I was doing. And my mom bought me the Blue Yeti microphone. I was poor and I didn't know what I was doing. So so that $10, I had to make it go as fast as I possibly could and as much as I could. And I had all this practice because I didn't know where to find scripts. I didn't know where to find real copy that's out there. And the pay-to-play stuff it's not always like real commercials, and it's a lot of e-learning and explainer videos. And of course that pays the bills a lot of the time, but yeah, it's a perfect place to start. So don't be afraid to start there. When honestly, no one's looking at your name and bad feedback and like making any mental notes about that at all. Like what I've said, it doesn't matter whose name is over here. All I'm looking for is what not to do. It doesn't mean that they're going to be like, that person sucks. I'm never doing what that person did. I have gotten millions of what not to do's, and we're helping each other is what it is. And so it's a real safe place. We haven't gotten any feedback of anyone being trolly or negative to any other people who do workouts with us and stuff like that. So not yet, knock on wood. And hopefully we don't. There's been a lot of trolls in workshops, character-wise. But anyway, any last questions? I think I've done, it's 7:05. I talked for an hour. Who knew I could do that? You're already in the right direction if you're here listening to me yap on. It's really what helped me move forward. Me and Tim don't make any money on the VO Weekly Workout unless we're guest directors. All of it goes to expenses and paying the coaches. So we're doing it for you, and that's why I want to always see them filled up, because there's so many great coaches coming up and so many great coaches that are there. And when I see just a couple of like 20 people out of 50, I'm like, oh, so many people missed out some great opportunities. But use this information. Go forth and book work.